Mindshift Squad, we are back again for the month of April, and it's pretty special. I'm excited to be your host today. Lily Tran, Lite Ambassador with the Village Project Stigma Reduction Campaign, here with.
Yes, yes. It is Kyle, Let me put my foot in the door real quick, but enough about me. We got another special guest in the building.
Well, before that, though, Kyle, what's your role in the Stigma Reduction Campaign?
I wear many hats. A little this, a little that.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, but
But
social
it
media.
sounds like you don't sound like a typical youth ambassador. You got a little age to your voice. So,
Oh gosh.
is there
He's
a specific
grown.
role that you play?
Mostly social media, along the lines of photography, videography, that type of thing.
Yes, all that good stuff, and we're really appreciative of Kyle being on our team and on this podcast especially. Moving on to our special guest, we have Joe Jakubowski, also known as AKA J-Man Say Man. You already know,
Hey
man.
man, say man, it's your boy J2 in the building.
Welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Welcome. Let me go ahead and read the formal bio, and then if you'd like to say anything else,
All right.
feel free to. So J2 is a former Division I football player who graduated from the University of San Diego. Now he's an entrepreneur, coach, community activist, and mentor dedicated to helping athletes and young people shift their mindset and maximize their potential. Through powerful storytelling and real life experiences, he challenges individuals to see obstacles differently, take ownership of their growth, and pursue excellence in every area of life. Through music, coaching, content creation, and everyday life, his goal is to inspire and serve others. His message is rooted from losses, wins, his faith in God, and persistence to inspire others to become whatever it is they have they hope to be.
Facts.
Yeah.
Say
Yes,
that.
sir.
That's a
That's
solid
awesome.
bio right there. And just to piggyback off it is just like, I'm human. I'm just a person that's trying to figure it out myself. I take everything day by day and every day I learn something new, or at least that's the hopes of every day. And everything I learn I try to give.
Yeah.
But I know that through my imperfects is what makes me to think that I'm perfect. So imperfect, I'm perfect. So just
Yeah.
living in
It's
that.
tight.
That's awesome. And we try to help push that kind of narrative or mindset for our youth too, because I think it's so easy to put pressure on yourself to have all these qualifications, be a certain way already, but emphasizing that we're all human and that we're all still learning. We're all on our individual journeys. It takes that first step or a step of courage to, challenge yourself and grow and get to the place where you want to be. And it's exactly why we have J2 as our keynote speaker for our Mindshift Youth Summit
Let's go.
happening on Saturday, May 2nd from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is like a whole work shift because it'll be putting all of us to work, but also putting us all in the fun and action of growing and healing together as a community. Real quick, Kyle, I know you and we've been working on and brainstorming, organizing the raffle prizes and all the fun stuff. Let them know what people can experience and be excited about with
Oh
this
my
youth
gosh.
event.
What do we not have?
Right?
It's going to be big raffles, big prizes. We're talking flat screen TVs. We're talking PS5s,
Talk to him.
bikes, electric bikes. It's about to be crazy. So
Yeah.
you guys definitely want to pull up.
And see, those are the raffle prizes. But on top of that, obviously, we're going to have J2 come out. He's going to share some inspiring stories, experiences. We're going to have cool workshops for people to learn and grow from and tie it all together, bring all these different activities, raffles, into one big wellness get together community event. Let's get into some real talk. Imagining all of our younger selves, what about our Mindshift Youth Summit would have us actually attend?
For me, I feel like if I knew all my homies was going,
Yeah.
if I knew my friends was going to be there,
Right.
and I wasn't going to be by myself, this is as a younger self me.
Right.
These days, I like going places by myself because I don't have to worry about what other people
go
might
to the
want to
next-
do, or
right.
I could just go and vibe. But as
I
my
felt that
younger
too.
self, I would probably want to know that my homies is going. That there's gonna be some good vibes and not a lot of pressure. You just go out there and have fun. DJ, food is always gonna bring me somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Food,
forgot to mention
music,
that.
and
We have
vibes.
That
food.
out. Oh yeah,
We
it's
got
about to be
food.
all types
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah.
That's
Food,
for
music,
sure
and
that,
vibes. If
yeah.
that's going on, I'm probably gonna be there.
Okay, that's good to know.
what's up.
And real quick, what's the specific age that you're imagining yourself? Like,
Ooh, that would probably be maybe sixth grade, like fifth grade,
Yeah.
sixth grade
okay.
era.
Which I feel like is the hardest age group to really get
Yeah.
excited and come out.
is.
It's a big stress too on getting their friends to come out.
Right.
I feel like it's easy for people to say yes when they have other people who have already said yes. So I remember one time in the beginning of our campaign, we were trying to think about like the ringleaders of these like middle schools and high
for
schoolers.
sure.
Like who are the people that are like leading the group chats or like really organizing everything? Because yeah, it's just
Have we
It's
thought
easier.
about going into the schools or into like the Boys and Girls Club and walking up in there and
Oh,
telling
for
them?
sure. Yeah.
I was about to say I could go up in there tomorrow and tell them like, "Hey, we got an event."
Exactly.
yeah. I think that's something worth exploring. We have like flyers out in these spaces, but I
Okay.
think showing up and really giving off the vibes that we want to create at our youth summit, and also just like we'll have like effortlessly, naturally
Right.
wherever we go, right?
Yep.
So I think giving youth and other people to like look at and experience beforehand so that they can have an idea.
That's why we got Jay too, because it's only so many people that's like, it's cool. You cool enough that, you could bring them out, and then you're still that perfect middle ground to where, like people older than us, they can see that you're respectable, that they, you don't do too much. But
Yeah.
then, the younger ones, they still listen to you though too. So
I was just talking to a mom about that yesterday. How I'm like
Wait,
at
to your
that.
mom?
No, to a mom, because
To a
somebody
mom,
saw
okay.
the flyer I posted and I was training her kid, and she was talking to me about the flyer or the event, and I was telling her to bring them out. But she was like, "It's so cool because you're at like an age to where you're somebody to look up to. You're still cool to the youth, but then you're still old enough to where they respect you and know that you
Yes.
still." At that level too, so it's like I gotta take advantage of this age right here. 'Cause it ain't gonna be here forever.
Yeah, it's a special like transitional age.
Yeah.
I was trying to share a quote with the youth last week, prepping them for
come
your
on.
arrival, and I was trying to uplift them and let them know that like their perspective and specific stage in life is so special because teenagers specifically know something that kids or children don't know yet and that adults forget. Like it's just like a specific like experience and like level of criticism or I don't know, sense of exploration that is so special to that like
Most definitely.
point of a like I gotta say like the
Yeah.
I know
what
what
is
you
it?
mean.
Stage in life, life
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
yeah.
Both of those work.
Right.
Either way you used it
I
would have
hope
hit.
so. In the same way that like their perspectives and viewpoints are important, same with, the in between like adult but also, people that get where youth are coming from.
For sure.
So-
Well, we all have the youth inside of us though. Which is, a crazy thought to actually have, because as adults and as grown-ups, we have to try to put on this somewhat facade in a way, or this act that I
Talk
have
about
it
it.
all together, or that, I'm grown, so you got to listen to me fact, or that I got to do everything the right way, or that I got to have it all figured out, or that, listen to me because I know it all concept. So it's like, as adults, we tend to forget that we too are also kids.
Yeah.
That we was born, magnificent and clean and uncut and pure. And we lose that because the world tends to put their opinions and their thoughts and their beliefs on us. And now we got to try to put what the world said to us and try to give it to the kids. But, that's a hard conversation to have, you know, because we want them to be their best version of themselves and we want them to do right. But at the same time, the way that we might communicate things and the way that we might do things could be wrong. And, you know, that's hard to go about as well. There's one thing for the youth, too. You're never too young to teach. You're never too old to learn.
Yeah.
You know, so these youth teach us a lot, and I don't think they give themselves that credibility to be able to actually speak for themselves. And I wish that they would speak out loud more, because we would love to hear their insights or their feelings or their emotions or what their battles or their challenges. And I feel like because, you know, maybe even the way I grew up, sometimes we weren't always able to have a voice. You know, we're always told, hey, be quiet. Hey, you're too loud. Hey, calm down. Hey, don't work so hard.
Right.
You know, and we start hearing those quotes every single day in our life, to where now it's like every time I talk, I got to be told to be quiet. Every time I'm too loud, I got to told to, hey, tone it down. So I can never even voice my opinions. I can never even be who I am, because every time I try, somebody tells me not to be that.
Yeah. No, thank you for bringing that up, because that's why last week, having you come out personally, meeting our youth ambassadors, right, having the curiosity to get to know them better, and being a safe place for them to truly open up. So when I said earlier about certain youth ambassadors who are normally like shy, keep to themselves, they're mostly all of the younger youth ambassadors, I'd say. So like up in the front, Kyle, who was there? It was like Ureli.
Ureli, Zaven.
There was a lot
Winter.
of high
I almost want to say
personalities.
Winter was up there in the front too.
She had her moments in the front. More specifically, though, it was those younger ambassadors who are normally
Muhammad.
more quiet. Yeah, Muhammad too.
Muhammad. Shout out to our youth, man.
Yeah,
I love our youth
Y'all
ambassadors
got a fire
so much.
group.
My favorite thing is when they put me in check and like, you know, teach me something. Because like you were saying, like you're never too old to learn something. And they prove that to me all the time. I want to take time to hear out more reflections that you might have had from personally connecting with our youth ambassadors. So let it be a confession time, right?
Yeah.
Like, be so real, be honest. You feel free to like share any first impressions, what your fears and excitement might have been leading up to it. I have more follow-up questions. I can either ask you all at once or maybe take it at slow.
I'll take it there first.
Okay.
You know, just pulling up to the, as we plan to meet with the youth and what we're trying to hopefully get out of it. My fears was just that I hope to get what everybody wanted out of it, which was a safe space, which was a place where they were able to talk and be themselves, which was a place where they could open up and not be afraid to have these hard conversations and ask hard questions and answer hard questions. So, you know, that was my fear going in. But a lot of things that I learned is I try not to focus on the negative things. You know, I know that I'm myself, and this is what I do every single day. So I also knew that if I just be myself, that would let them be themselves. After seeing the youth and being in there and walking in there, you could see everybody was like a little more shy. And I'm like, hold up, we're not about to have this shy energy. Let me turn my energy up a couple notches just so y'all can see it's cool. And then after that, you know, we had a little game where we all asked questions walking around, and they opened up. But what I've learned or gained from the experience too is just that they do love to talk.
Yes.
That they do have a voice, that they do have feelings, and that they do have personalities. They are funny. You know, they love to dance. You know, like you know, it's just you know, it's like we said, it's just humbling, because it's like, you know, we put on this stigma that they're quiet or that they don't care or that they're not smart or that they don't have confidence.
Yeah.
When actually they do. They just need to be put in an environment and be challenged and be able to know that it's okay to have it. Yeah. So that was, you know, what I've learned. And as you said, some people who normally don't were. Yeah, that's because they're human. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't talk to everybody I want to talk to either.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's just putting ourselves in those environments, and you know, by being with them, it opened my eyes to, you know, when I was a kid again. Yeah. So it was cool.
Yeah, I love how the Village Project breaks down too in supporting youth, or like giving, I guess, just empowering them. And then from there, right, we have like, you know, our staff who show up, and we try to, you know, just make it a safe place for them, interact with them, really see that human part of them, rather than just like, oh, this is someone that I have to like manage their behavior, or this is, you know, this is someone who's just disengaged. Like there's so much more to the youth that we give context to.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that with the Village Project, and I appreciate how you match that too. Like without even, setting the terms for it. Like you just showed up and locked in that.
Yeah. No, it was a safe space for me too. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys setting that type of place where we could, do what we're doing.
What experiences and aspects about yourself would you say shaped you into becoming the youth mentor you are today?
Bow, bow, bow.
So was there a time when you noticed like, you know what, I think I could start mentoring the youth or something? Or when did you realize that, I want to work with youth?
Man, that feeling actually came far after everything, but what ultimately kind of just, created me to be, or those moments looking back, or those experiences looking back, is I've had a lot of great mentors in my life. I've had a lot of coaches in my life. I've had a lot of people I've looked up to. I've also had a lot of people I didn't look up to.
Please
I've also
get into
had
that. No, please get into that.
people who I thought cared about me, people who I thought were leading me down the roads that I wanted to go in, things where I was maybe in search of love, or maybe in search of money, or maybe in search of, having somebody be proud of me, So I started listening and looking at people where, as I got older, I realized that they actually didn't care for me, that they actually didn't love me, that they actually weren't leading me down the right places. And, and that comes with experience, that comes with growth, because at those times, those were people that, I looked up to. And then, people that I didn't look up to, I just seen how they made people feel around them. I seen how they made me feel when they talked, when they spoke, or, the body language that they came in, or the smell that they walked in with. Or just the energy that they walked in with, or the facial expressions and the body language. I just know it didn't make me feel happy. I know it didn't make me feel safe. I know it didn't make me feel comfortable. So, as I'm a competitor, I learn from everybody I'm around. I'm very observant. I'm a person that could definitely watch you do it once, and I guarantee I could do it next. So, I watch a person do something that I like, and I take it. I steal it. That's mine. I'm throwing that into my bag. And then I watch people do things the wrong way, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I make sure I don't take that into my bag. And, but that doesn't mean that that's always been that part of my life. I have tried things that I shouldn't have took. And that's what's giving me this perspective today, is because there were times where I was like, I knew it was wrong, but I feel like I could wiggle it. I feel like I could finesse it. I feel like I could get by. I feel like nobody would notice. And I got caught, So it's just through life experiences, it caught me to be, somebody who wants to get back to the youth, because I don't want them to touch the stove when I know it's hot already. And if I could tell them that that's not the route and I've already been there, it would be less of me to not say that. I couldn't sleep good at night. I couldn't look into the mirror knowing that I have the answer and I'm not going to share it. So that's my thoughts.
And that's definitely respectable, because a lot of times we see, kind of like how you were saying, they may be like the fake role models that they'll make it seem like they really care and things like that, and they don't deep down. So that's why we appreciate people like you that could, steer them the right way, and they'll actually listen.
And the other thing too, brother, is maybe even those people that I was looking up to, maybe that wasn't their intention. Maybe the people that they was being guided from was guided wrong. So, these are things that are being passed down, and at some point, somebody got to ask why. At some point, somebody got to change the narrative. At some point, somebody got to be like, nah, that's out. I ain't on that.
Yeah.
But, the people that might have been steering me wrong, that's all they knew. So I can't judge you for telling me that. That's all you know. But I'm going to make sure that you know that I ain't with that. And I'm going to try to change the narrative. I'm going to try to flip the script. So, I can never judge nobody for doing anything wrong, because that might be all they know or where they're at in that chapter.
Yeah.
So,
and that's part of breaking the cycle or breaking the stigma too, right?
Facts. Call it out.
No, preach it, Kyle. That's why we had to have him come on too, for this special. And going back to you talking about like that intuition almost, where you're just taking in the environment or taking in like certain qualities or experiences from a person to gauge whether or not you want to like add it to your bag or like leave it out your bag.
Yeah.
That really reminded me of when I was younger too, and just like trusting my experience with someone, and also like that connection between like where I'm currently at physically maybe, and then also like where I want to be on like a number of like levels,
sure.
whether it be mentally, emotionally, like what am I signing up for when I'm associating with this person, or what I'm letting them like talk to me or like influence how I see things or view things. Those kinds of ways to like practice or build your self-awareness is so important, I feel like, for youth. Like that is the one of the ways that they can wield their power, because it's so easy for youth to see like, I don't really have control over my situation because, you know, I can't make these big decisions. I you know, just do what I'm told, and like I'm limited by, you know, the circumstances I'm in. I don't know, the breakthrough that you can get just within yourself and like your mind alone is super powerful. And I feel like it's trusting your intuition, just like making those connections, of like what, like how am I don't know, being shaped or being influenced
For sure.
by the people that I'm spending my time with. And you got into it a little bit, but I want to see if you can specify anything without, like we don't want to put your business out there or anything, but like, what was it that you said, like, what kind of heat was the stove?
Oh,
Maybe like
okay.
on.
No,
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, I hear
Medium
you.
high.
I hear you.
Yeah, no, like
There's so many too. I think you touched on it a little bit, and I'll just go that route too, because you talked a little bit about, you know, comparison almost in a way, you know, trying to compare myself to others, and you know, I know this quote that I live by today is like, I don't follow or look up to somebody that has the things that I want. I look up and follow the people that carries the qualities I want. So it's not the things that you have, it's the person that you are. And I felt like the stove that I was touching that was hot was I was chasing and following the people that had the things that I want. They weren't the person that I wanted to be.
I see.
So they were maybe doing things for money. You know, I heard this Nipsey Hussle quote. He's like, the only regrets I had is when I hurt people. So any things that where I put myself in predicament. So, you know, my cousins are from the Bay Area, and they were stealing phones and wallets and doing all these types of things, and they were selling drugs and doing all these different things for money. And I was a broke college kid living on a couch and out of my car, and I was homeless for sometimes, where I was a Division I player living in the locker room because you know, I didn't want my parents to have to pay for all this rent. I wanted to just, they put me out here. Now I got to figure the rest out on my own, and I didn't want to put no burden on them. So I seen my cousins making money, and no matter what that they were doing for it, whether it was stealing, selling drugs, hustling, anything, I was down because I seen the paper they were touching. They were putting me in suites every day. They were rolling around in cars. They were flying in and out of cities. They were filling our grocery. They were filling our fridge up. You know, they were feeding us every single day. And I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta go back to the store and steal some more food. You know what I mean? I ain't about to call my mom and tell her that, you know, I'm hungry. You know, I'm gonna find a way to get it. And a lot of times I ain't got time for a job because I gotta go to school and I gotta go to practice. So it's like, okay, if you could show me how to make money right here, right now, I'm down to do it. And, you know, that got me in trouble, and it sat me down in jail because, you know, I was taking and selling things that weren't mine. I was selling drugs because I knew how to buy something and flip it for less, you know, and I was ultimately chasing the money. I wasn't chasing the qualities of a person. I was trying to be something I wasn't.
Yeah.
And see how you told
that
not
answers
to
your question. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure.
No, it did. Yeah.
For sure.
I'm trying to give you all I got. Hey,
Listen,
give
if there's
I want to
anything
make
you
sure
wanna
you
cut
get what
out,
you get, but
Oh,
Like,
no,
I don't know.
it's all good. But because you just told us a real story. And so, you know, a lot of people, they have this idea that maybe when they see, I mean, you rap, we rap, like, so hip hop is probably one of the biggest genres in the world at this present moment. A lot of rappers, they seem to put on like this.
I don't know about that one actually.
What's the
you
biggest
got something
genre?
I feel like hip hop is low key dying.
What?
That's a different conversation.
Okay.
And we can prove it like with you know, a quick search on Google.
All right.
Because I swear, I
Yeah,
think
no,
it
we
is.
gotta
the
come back to
statistics
that
is
one.
going down. You're saying
I don't know for sure, but
We
I
got-
feel like I've heard that.
Well, shoot,
There's
I
no
rarely
country
listen
you
to
can
music.
go
I know
to.
that.
We're getting off topic.
All right.
And that statistic has nothing to do with J2 or any
All
of the
right.
rappers we love, but
Okay.
So
right.
back to
I
the
just had to say that
question.
piece.
A lot of them kind of put on like a persona. They have themselves on a day to day, and then maybe themselves when they're in a video or when they do something else. So who were some of your influences when you were growing up? Let's say maybe top 3
In the music game,
in music.
I grew up like on. My dad only had me listening to Tupac. So Tupac was like probably my biggest influence, and as I grew older and I started looking into Tupac and his his interviews and his music and his lyrics and his messages, it's very in alignment with who I am today too. And just that I didn't even, as a young kid, I never even realized that he died so young at like 23 years old or something like that. Like his mind was just so on another level. He was before his time. He was an old soul. Yeah. But it's one of those people that kind of just ask questions and challenge the norms. So Tupac is one. Nipsey Hussle's probably the other biggest one as I got into elementary, middle school. Just of a hustler coming from nothing and having to work his way up and just, just putting his life messages into music. Yeah. And then the last one I would probably say, I grew up on a lot of like Erykah Badu type vibes. Like a lot of, my mom used to cook and clean off Erykah Badu vibes. So I would go like a R&B type energy. So like my rappers would be Tupac, Nipsey Hussle, Erykah Badu, and all those type vibes would be like my R&B flavor, but all of his soul, all of his message, all of his,
Hey.
Yeah.
We were just sampling her like little clip from, was it in our play?
It was.
What did we use? Yeah.
Well, usually when we do the podcast, we put a
There's
little beat that it had a little Erykah Badu
Oh,
type
okay.
flavor
See?
on it. So that's
See,
why it's
I
funny.
didn't even know.
That's
So
crazy.
that's
though.
crazy.
Yeah, this is how locked in we are because we have that, and then also I feel like Nipsey Hussle is like our sponsor, who's really not our sponsor because we repost like clips of him on our story for Instagram a couple of times.
And I asked because the 3 people, your influences back then in music, well, even up to now, none of the people you mentioned are just 100% clean cut or the perfect. You would look at them and be like, I want to listen to them, and then look at their impact on the world. Look at how many people were influenced, and so it just goes to show you don't have to be perfect in everybody's eyes to make a difference and have impact, just like you're doing right now. So
That's right
we
on the nail.
appreciate that.
You know, it's relatable. I love the underdog story. All those movies, all the underdog, the person that they didn't think was gonna make it. Yeah. The person that came from nothing, the person that had to overcome. I don't want it the easy way. So it's the person that could overcome and get through the things that they once thought they couldn't. It inspires, and that's the greatest thing that any human person could do is to inspire.
That's what's up.
Yeah, 2 things about that. Going back to Tupac and like maybe Nipsey Hussle too. I don't know too much about him, but I think what also makes him really special and timeless and like just on this whole other level that other artists can't just like like your typical artist maybe, especially now like with mainstream, is just like their ability to not be put in a box. Like Tupac represented so much more than just hip hop. He came with just like the history, his like personal family ties, and just like his education, and like I know his mom.
She was a Black Panther.
Yeah, and so like his ties to just like social advocacy, right? And so like I think the model of someone who can both be like this hard rapper and talk about all these things, but also like carry that education, that history is really cool. And I think that might be what we're building here.
It is. I was gonna let you get your thought through.
We got a lot of tools in our belt.
Facts. There's some tools in the bag for sure.
Yeah.
But I like how you just brought up like the Tupacs and the Nipseys, like they didn't allow the box. They didn't allow it to be confined by the box, and that was it. But the other caveat I want to kind of talk to about that is the things that come with that. Like if I live outside of this box, if I challenge the norms, if I say something opposite of what everybody's saying, if I do the things that everybody's not doing, that comes with a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, we live in a follower world. You know, where we're looking at likes, we're looking at followers, we're looking at streams, we're looking at dollar amounts, we're looking at all of these things that we feel is what success is or who we should be. And I feel like, you know, we get put into that box of trying to chase that we forget who we are in that, you know, alignment. But if you could challenge the norms and become a leader and stand up for something and not fall for anything, and you know, not care what you think about me because I'm saying what I feel or what I believe is right. That's where you have the Martin Luther Kings and the Tupacs and the Nipsey Hussles and the people that challenge the norm and say what's right, no matter the repercussions that come with it. So, you know, which is what I want to be. You know, I ask God for me to be the messenger. Whatever you want me to say, let me say it. And I just hope I say it correctly in the time I'm supposed to say it. But if I don't, I'm willing to, you know, live with whatever I did because I know my intentions are pure.
I hear you. I think this was a divine intervention.
Facts. Facts. God's timing.
A question Kyle and I thought of asking you involved around you being both like a youth mentor and a artist. One of our youth ambassadors, which is really important to always just like tie back into the conversation. Like they were kind of confused or like almost I think just curious how you could be doing all of that, like being, you know, a coach, being a motivational speaker, being, you know, an artist. Like it was hard for them to conceptualize that being like a positive positive place, because in their head they're thinking like you just got to pick one and like focus on it and like nail that down. But we're just talking about how it's, you know, unique and really special to not be put in a box, to, you know, be able to take on these different perspectives or have these different skills.
For sure.
You don't just make music. Like, if you want to make music, you don't just have to be that.
Yes,
If you want to mentor the youth or coach, I don't. Yeah, I coach, but I like other stuff too. Like,
Right,
you know,
right.
you don't have to be limited to just one thing.
Yeah.
So,
I love that you guys brought that up. That's one of my biggest battles. One of my biggest battles that I face daily is, you know, I don't want to spread myself so thin and, you know, just have so many tricks that I'm a master of none. You know, like how they say that quote. But I promise myself that whatever I feel, whatever I think I'm going to do. I worked in a job where I was working a 9 to 5, where I was working in a cubicle, where I was doing the same thing every single day. But I had other things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I had other dreams and aspirations that I wanted. I felt I had more to give. And once I got fired, my heart dropped because I just lost so much steady income and so much money to where I was like, man, I had it all. Like I was comfortable. I had a steady living. And God was like, I thought you said you had other feelings and other dreams and other aspirations. I thought you said you had more to offer. And and that was the reason why I got fired. So, you know, I do a lot of different things, but that's because that's just what I feel like doing. But a lot of times I feel like I need to just go in all in on one, because I know if I do, I'm going to win. Because I know I'm going to win. But it's just like I'm doing so many different things. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not winning. But perspective is just a beautiful thing, you know, because I feel like because I do so many things, I'm doing what I feel. So for that fact, I am winning.
Yeah, and I want to affirm the idea that Kyle brought up was just like the different parts of who you are. And I think a way to stay true to that and not be a follower and really to focus on you and your mental health is to give attention and to like grow these different parts of yourself. So it's totally possible for, you know, the musician and artist inside of you to be in the same reality as the person who wants to, you know, mentor youth. Like those things are equally J2 and there isn't one that's like better or the other. And they serve different purposes, I feel like, in just taking care of yourself or like helping you express yourself, build you up. I'm staying on this because, again, this came from a youth ambassador, right? And so I'm trying to just challenge their like way of looking at just like your place of, you know, doing different things and it being a positive thing.
For sure.
Because I'm sure that has opened up doors that might not have happened had you not, been at a place and have met the
Facts.
people at that time. And so there's just like amount of exposure, amount of different opportunities that just come with like saying yes and, putting your time in these different areas. I feel like I've grown the most when I'm in places or environments that like aren't necessarily familiar to me.
Getting out of your comfort zone. But I love that question just because it sounds like the question almost came from a place of they don't know which route to choose and they trying to balance a lot.
And how much of us did or do?
So
Even
it's like
still.
a lot of us feel like, oh, I got to go to college. Oh, I got to get a job. Oh, I got to be a good person. Oh, I got to go to church. Oh, I got to
Yeah.
do this. Oh, I got to. So it's so straight line and narrowed. So it's like, how does he do this and this and that? But we supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like, it sounds like, she's trying to challenge the norm as well. And, it's just such a great question because, we don't find out who we are if we don't try things.
Yes.
So if I was told to go to college and get a good job and raise a family and get a house and do the same thing over and over, I never even got to see if this is my true purpose. I never even got to see if this is what I'm supposed to be doing in the world because I never tried anything other than going to college and getting a job. So it's like I try different things and I'm like, oh shoot, I like this. This is fun. This feels good. So I would say try as many things as you can, especially as a kid, especially as a youth ambassador. Try everything. And then
Yeah.
take the things you like and leave the things you don't.
Right. No, yes.
That's what's up.
We're highlighting that. We're printing it out and we're going to tape it somewhere for
Yeah.
the youth ambassadors to read. I wish I could like go more into who this person or who the student was, but of course that's not me, especially
out
as
to
lead
them,
to
though.
ambassador.
It's all
But
good.
yes,
she could
shout
come
out.
ask me or they could come ask me. When
Yeah,
gotta get
shout
a
out to
part-
them for still
yeah, we gotta get a
being
part
for
two or
sharing that,
something, bring-
because I think that's so true that like a lot of like our projections or the judgments we make have more to say about us and where we're at than like the person themselves. And I think it makes a lot of sense for this person, but also just like young people in general to see like pursuing all these different things as if I say yes to all these different things, like how am I going to manage that? Like,
That's real.
yeah, how would I do this?
And it's so much time in the day too,
For sure.
and so that's why time is a luxury, right?
Prioritize, so, like I said, I might have to go coach, but, there's a message that needs to be shared. I might have to go write a song, but there's an event that I got to be at. So you just got to prioritize.
I want to at least get 2 questions more.
Okay.
Kyle has one, and then I have the last one.
Any final words for the youth who want to be taken seriously for their passions or what they believe in?
If you want to be taken seriously, take yourself seriously. If you want people to believe in you, you got to believe in yourself. So I would just say trust yourself. That feeling and that thought or that idea isn't there by accident. I feel like God put that there for a reason. If you just lean into it and you just go all in, you'll be amazed with the things that will come out of it. I would just tell them to trust themselves and,
And if any, what's one habit that changed everything, or one thing you should stop waiting for? What's one habit that changed everything? So
Okay.
In terms of like helping people be taken seriously.
or maybe being like too nitpicky or
I
something.
I realized that I was having a lot of negative thoughts, and as soon as I started pouring life into myself, I started listening to a lot of positive messages. I started reading a lot of positive books. I started surrounding myself with a lot of positive people. The more positive I poured into myself, the more positive my life became. The more positive I started to think, the more positive I started to be. The more positive I started to be, the more positive I started to talk. The more positive I started to talk, the more positive, it just, the positive,
Yeah.
you can't get positivity from you can't get nothing positive from a negative mindset. You can't get positive, results from negative actions, so it's just like I started to cut out the things that I felt weren't benefiting me. And then I started filling it with things that I felt was beneficial. So if it helped grow me, I try to do it as much as I could. If I felt like it wasn't benefiting me, I just cut it off.
And was it hard to do?
It wasn't hard to do only because I knew why I wanted it. I knew I wanted to be a better person. I knew I wanted to give more. I knew I wanted to love more. I knew I had more to gain. So all the things that I cut off, I knew that why I was cutting them off.
Yeah.
I knew I was cutting it off because it wasn't serving me. So the answer is no. It wasn't hard. I cut it off because I knew it was for me.
Sorry.
That was.
Yeah, great questions.
Lily?
Yeah. I have so many like youth voices in my head to like, I guess just break down that even more, because I'm imagining youth responding to, what did you say? I think it was to be taken seriously, you have to take yourself seriously by believing in yourself. I feel like they might hear that too often than not. And so it's like, what? Yeah, that negative mindset, I feel like, or like they'll always just have something,
Yeah,
to fight against that. And it's
for sure.
tough.
I would listen to, I would hop on YouTube and listen to mindset motivations in the morning. I would get off your phone as much as you can. Stay off your phone.
Listen to Mindshift podcast.
Listen to Mindshift podcast. Surround yourself with
Eat the
people
word.
Since
like,
you're on your phone anyway.
yeah. Surround yourself with people like Lily and Kyle. I would do stuff like that. I would find a circle that is doing positive things, that is trying to lead you in the right way. I would say get off your phone and start living your life. I would say to write down your feelings and thoughts so you could put it outside of your mind. As we write, our mind has to organize our thoughts. If we don't write and we don't read, then our mind and all these words are just going so crazy. And that's where this anxiety and this overthinking and this depression and all this stuff comes from. Write your thoughts down, journal, write how your day went, write what you're feeling, write the things that you want. Talk positive to yourself. We have over 60,000 thoughts every single day. A majority of those are negative. Be mindful of those negative thoughts. Every time you think you can't, switch it. I can do this. I can do hard things. You have to catch those negative things and switch it into a positive. You got to surround yourself around positive people and not negative people. You got to put your thoughts onto paper and organize your thoughts and see the things that you want. So those are a couple things that I would say as far as things that you can do to believe in yourself. You would just start keeping your word to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to wake up early, wake up early. Just little things like that.
Whew.
It has helped me.
Yeah, no,
when I don't keep my word, it gets heavy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and one of my favorite things to do too is like to check in with myself and ask like, what did I do today that I'm proud of? And if I'm not satisfied with my answer, like, oh, I'm proud that I got up out of bed today. Like, yes, I can be proud of those things, but like, how can I like push myself, or maybe like, what other things can I be proud about myself, because there are things that I'm more capable of than that. So it's just always like a nice place to see where you're at, where your PR is maybe, and then to just continue breaking it or like setting the goal up.
The cool thing is we have another day tomorrow. We could try again.
You just gave us a little sneak peek, and also we talked about just like the hacks and ways to continue growing ourselves and pushing ourselves to becoming the people we want to become. And we're going to get more into that at our youth summit.
Right.
Stay tuned. Kyle, you say what you want me to say right now, okay? You got a vision.
Hey, if y'all like the first part of this interview, stay tuned for part 2 coming at you real soon.
Most definitely. We got into everything good and beautiful.
So meet us there, beat us there, and all of that. Let's show up for ourselves, show up for our community, but most importantly, let's show up for our youth. I look forward to seeing y'all there, Odermeyer Center. Get your pre-registered tickets at the Village Project Inc. on Instagram. Go tune in, zoom in. I'll see y'all in a little bit.